My name is Stess The Emcee. I'm a on-air personality at Blazing 102.3 here in town in Tallahassee. Basically today, I guess, just talk about real quick how I got into radio, real fast. I'm actually an MC, Stess The Emcee. I rap, I put out CDs, mixtapes, and I was kind of well known around here for battling people. I used to battle all the time. Anytime there was an open mic battle, I was there. If I had to go by myself or whatever, I always went. I actually live in Thomasville, Georgia, so I had to come up, do the commute. I had to take that 35, 45 minutes to get up here today. And I go to a club every week, and they had a little open mic, and I was just killing people, and I got the reputation. People didn't really know my name, but they were like, there's this white kid that's going to the open mic, and he's slaughtering everybody. You got to go check him out. From there, DJ Storm saw me. She invited me to come battle on Jay Blazer's show, which was on Fridays. You come in, you battle, and it was the highest rated radio show in town, period. Like any given time, there was about 150,000 listeners right there. So you go in and you just say your name, you can say, hey, this is cool or this isn't, and it would, garner some kind of reputation just based on the amount of listeners. So I started getting a name from that. I would go every week and I would battle. The problem was, after my second week of winning, I had to go back to school, and I went to LaGrange College. That's where I got my bachelor's from, and that's like in between Columbus and Atlanta. So I could either lose my spot and stay at school, or I could suck it up. So what I did was I hopped in I was driving the 92 GL Storm, and I'm 6'2". And I'd take a 4-hour trip, come battle 30 seconds, damn win, and drive all the way back, sometimes in the same night. Well, Jay Blaze, at the time, was just the music director, but it formed a really good relationship. And music-wise, he was probably the first person that believed in me as an artist and as an MC before anybody else did. So 05, I didn't have any kind of job lined up. I kind of got fucked because they said, you spend this money, you get this degree, you get paid, you're straight. Well, it didn't happen. So my last $100 I had like $107. That's all I had to my name. And DJ Lil Boy, who is also on Blaze 102.3, who was T-Pain's tour DJ now, was just doing a car show behind the Allen Shannon Flea Market on the south side of town. Paid my little money so I could perform. Because if you get an opportunity, you keep trying to take it, and that's kind of my mentality. Paid my last $100, went in there, and the DJ messed it up. And he didn't play my music. I gave him my little CD that had my name on it and said, just play track 1 or whatever. And he played the wrong CD. So I'm thinking, in my mind, well, I'm still hotter than everybody out here, so bam, I go a cappella. You got a crowd of people, you go on a cappella, you're not going to keep their attention. So I was taking an L, and I started getting booed. And every time if you perform or if you DJ, if you do anything, when you get booed in front of a crowd like that hurts your pride a little bit. Fortunately, Jay Blaze was there. Hopped on stage and said, he'll battle anybody, make a line. Bam, 25 people stood behind the line. I was like, holy shit, what, and this is Southside Tallahassee. Only white people there were me and the police. Like, and I was just by myself. So this line of all these thugs and goons back there, a bunch of tall tees and dicky shorts, and they wanted to battle. First guy came up, burned him. So a couple people left. Next guy came up, went through him. A few more. By the time I wound up battling 4 people, and the other 21 just was like, fuck it, I'm not about to be embarrassed. This is my side of town. We don't even know who this guy is. So I was going back to LaGrange to try to record in the studio real quick on credit because I had spent my last $100. I had to borrow some money for gas to get up there. And Jay called me and was like, look, I can't do anything for you. I can't play your music. And we're going to get into that. I'm going to speak on that a little bit further. Because this is commercial radio. We can't just play anything. We can't just do anything, but you can come hang out. So I would just sit in the corner and do absolutely nothing for like probably 2 months. Eventually Jay was like, just keep coming through. If you want, got some people here to get some drinks. Go be our bitch for a minute. Go over here and handle whatever we want you to handle. So I was like, bet, because at least every now and again I could hop up and say my name on the radio. I could say Stess The Emcee, Stess, 100,000, 150,000 listeners. Promote myself. L Boogie, who used to be our midday person, who's no longer a midday person, she was in school at the time, and she went home for Thanksgiving and didn't come back until like the middle of January. So there's somebody that used to do the news every day that didn't show up, and I was like, well, I study hip hop a little bit, I'll do my thing, and so I started doing the news. I've been doing the news for about 4 years now. That eventually manifested to somebody else getting fired, and Jay Blaze became the programming director. So I'm like, bet, Jay's my man at this point. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get in there. His first job as programming director, he gave me my own show. It's on Sunday nights now, but it used to be on Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. I mean, just by a show of hands, who likes to have a good time on Saturday night? You know what I mean? As do I. About 4 a.m., the club closed, let house over. Tried to Tallahassee. Get the Blaze, and it's over there on Tharp Street, Tharp and Capitol Circle. I'll go to the back lounge and just sleep on the couch for like an hour or two. Then do the show. Everybody's going to church. Now my show it's a special show. It's the first one of its kind for our station. Blaze 102.3 started kind of early '03. It's called Digging in the Crates. Now originally it was going to be all true school and old school hip hop. You know, if you want to, for an example, I'm a really big Sky Zoo fan, and I linked up with him because DJ Speed Racer actually grew up with an MC by the name of Stimuli.
Oh, wow.
Racer and Stimuli are like almost best friends. So I hollered at Racer, I hollered at his man, I hollered at Sky Zoo, and I was getting records and getting drops and doing interviews with him. Again, it's commercial radio. A bunch of people who kind of look like my dad, a couple of my uncles, called, said, "You're playing a shitload of records that we had not approved." And I was doing this while people were going to church. Because I would hear, you know, you could be online or you'd hear a record, and I've got the power of a radio show, so I'm going to play whatever I want. Jay's first thing as programming director gave me my own show. A few months into it, I made it look horrible. So I didn't understand all the rules necessarily. And I found out with commercial radio, you can't necessarily play whatever you want. And I didn't know how it was broken down, and how it worked for us. Like, why can't I just run on here and play whatever record I want? But commercial radio is just that, it's just all commercial. A lot of people complain, asking, you know, hip hop's not on the radio, and it's not. My show is pretty hip hop, but it's not all the way because we still have to run commercials for the adult stores in town and for anybody who want to buy some shoes or if there's a party going on. So I have to interrupt all I'm doing just to promote stuff. And then whenever I talk, I have to be good at it to have listeners so people will be convinced to listen, hear these commercials. Because if they don't do that, then we don't exist. So it's kind of torn because you know, especially when I was younger, I thought I was so hip hop it didn't matter. For me to get on the commercial station, the sellout station, I had to skip sleep and sleep on the couch and drive 4 hours, like just to battle, just to get my name. Like I had to do so much, and then I would just get shitted on by everybody. Like, oh, you were blazing. Like that's not hip hop. Well, to a degree, it's not. But then you have to look at yourself. Like you have to define what hip hop is to you. You know, is it broken down? Has it got 4 elements, or unless KRS One, he says like a 5th element now. But you know, how do you break it down within yourself? And for me, it's all about how I feel. I think I can still be hip hop on a commercial station. I can still run Biggie. I can still run Jay-Z when he could rap. I can still run, you know, Tupac whenever he was alive. You know, those records, not the ones that came out way after. I can still do that, but I'm still at the mercy of our playlist. Mine's a little different because actually none of my records I play are actually approved. But I have to prove that these records did get released. It wasn't a B-side, it wasn't an album cut. I didn't hear this brand new record I used to love and just go clean it up myself and run it. I gotta prove that at least the vinyl came out when that record came out. I have to be able to prove it. And there have been occasions where I've run records that they didn't know, because, you know, apparently a lot of corporate guys don't grow up on hip hop, but they didn't know. You know what I mean? So I've had to prove it and go online and show where, you know, when it was released and pressed up and everything.
When you first started doing radio, like when you first when you had that morning show or whatever you did, did everything come natural to you, like how you spoke and you flow, or you had a lot of ums and like gaps and stuff?
I cursed on the radio. I messed up and pressed the wrong thing, and I was like, shit. Then my cell phone started going off. Shit. The mic was still on, and I was like, shit. It's kind of nerve-wracking because you go in there and just a bunch of buttons. This button does one thing, and they all just do one thing, and you have to make sure that your timing is perfect every time you do it. When I would first go on there, you could tell I was nervous. Whenever you're speaking, you're like, this sounds absolutely horrible. This is garbage. But fortunately, I was on in the morning. We have fewer listeners. Everybody listen to church music, so I got to go for a good year and some change, in the morning, just practicing by myself, more or less, you know, with a limited audience, until we did better in the ratings, and then by then I was doing a lot better. And with things like that, it's all about confidence. Because talking on the radio is like if you're trying to talk to a female. If you sound stupid, you're gonna look stupid, and she's not really gonna have much to do with it. It was really nerve-wracking at first. And even to this day, I still mess up, you know, because you're gonna have that day when you go to work. Whatever you do for a living, you're gonna go in there, you're gonna mess up that day. There's gonna be meetings of people telling you messed up. So you just gotta go in there with confidence, kind of have a stride about it.
And it's one thing to holler at one girl, it's a whole nother thing to holler at 150,000 girls at once.
It is. But I feel confident in myself when it comes to hollering at girls, so it doesn't matter if there's 150,000 people listening. You know, when I first kind of started, and before I got in trouble for playing those records, I brought in a lot of local artists. Guys that I thought could really spit. You in the MC, you want to be on a hip hop station, you got to freestyle, buddy. A lot of people can't freestyle. I had to stop bringing people in, but then we got crushed so hard by corporate, couldn't even play local music anymore until it got approved. And that goes back to the record being hot. MBZ, huge in the hood in Tallahassee, huge, because this record played everywhere. We had to prove to corporate that record was played everywhere just so it could make it on our station. Because there, our home office, one's in Atlanta, and you got to go out to California, I believe. They don't know what people listen to in Tallahassee.
Right.
Fortunately for us, like Jay Blaze especially, was brought to Tallahassee because they were going to start blazing. 96.1 is also one of our sister stations, and it's mainly the station we compete with because they always are killing it out of the box. But they used to play hip hop at night. Jay was on there, Hush Daddy Dollar was on there, El Boogie at the time, she was an intern, she was on there. Everybody up there loves music. Especially like we do a Dig in the Crates like Dirty South version, and it's like all the Miami music. Dreesy, if you're familiar with Dreesy Baby with the Schoolboys, he knows all those records. So he's on Blazing, and he goes DJs at Baja's, and you know he's in with that group. So people just kind of brush him off, but he knows every single record. Sometimes before we even play it, he'll text his own, play this, play that. You know what I mean? DJ Speed Racer. He knows his older brother was college roommates with one of the people that started allhiphop.com.
Yeah.
We used to be free. We used to have no limitations. But once you get money involved, you don't have a choice. So, I mean, it's sad when things come to that, because you always want to think about the pure and the essence in the beginning, the original. Consider our audience. We don't play music for us. It's our job. We have to go in and adhere to these rules. Commercial radio, majority of the time, is like young college white women. A lot of popular things are dictated from them. The average listener that just wants to hear the regular thing, Lil Jon on top of that hour every time, they don't want to hear new music.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear new stuff. They want to hear something that they already know all the words to. They want to hear those heavy rotation records. But with all that, with all of the crap and the playlists and everything, everybody that's successful in commercial radio, we know that we have a certain amount of power. Unfortunately, the ones that maintain, for the most part, especially here in town, at Blazing, community events, doing stuff for free, going to different things. Schoolboys, they went to, I think, Rickard's Career Day last week.
Yeah.
And just talked about staying in school, staying off drugs, you know, because they're viewed by those kids, by that demographic, their view is like almost gods. They love them to death. DJ Lil Boy can go to a high school at any given moment, and they'll just go freaking bananas. You know, just screaming because they think he's the biggest celebrity.
Yeah.
You know, but he takes that and he does community organized events. When El Boogie was on the station, she used to always do like AIDS drives and stuff like that through the health department to encourage people to come out for free on behalf of the station. Sometimes we even pay for it. Come out and get checked, you know.
All right. Yo, thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate it. Real quick on the way out, why don't you tell them how to get, like, check your music and stuff like that.
MySpace.com/Stess The Emcee. That's all the way out though. STESSTHEEMCEE. Or just Google that. It's Twitter.com/Stess The Emcee.